Hello again. This is Laura Volpintesta. Welcome back to Fashion Illustration Tribe. I love to talk about creativity development, not just specific art techniques, which I do teach in my online coaching programs, but also just to talk about learning and creativity in so many aspects of it. I was never someone who was in school who questioned school or who was rebellious about school. I always, both in my early childhood schooling and in my college career, I did everything I was asked to do to the best of my ability. Really applied myself to my studies. Never questioned any of that. But I ended up, I'm a mother of three, and my older kids are 12 and 13, no, 13 and 14 now. And we wound up homeschooling for about 7 years. One still is, one just started high school, and my youngest would be starting kindergarten, but we're going to be homeschooling as well. And when I embarked on that journey, I started to read a lot of books about education and learning. I mean, I've been teaching since 1997, teaching pattern making and draping on the college level at the same college that I graduated from, Parsons School of Design, BFA program for fashion design. And I've been teaching in their AAS degree for career changers and um, people who already have degrees, a 2-year program for the past 12 years, illustration, portfolio, model drawing. And the reason I'm bringing all that up is that I've been very much on the front lines there with learning and creation, creative learning, and just taken on so much experience about both how my children learn and development, environment, and how those things influence learning, as well as going back and questioning my own process, because here I am, 41, and realizing which parts of me were kind of stunted by the assumed ways that learning happenings in our culture. And same thing in fashion and in business. Things are changing as much as they are in marketing and advertising and the way business is being done. Also with sustainability, more humane practices, smaller business, ethical business, and all of these things play up really big in fashion, which has a lot of old school toxic production methods and standards that we can really start re-envisioning. Like, now is the time. Education is also getting looked at in a new way. I went to a fashion university and I teach at a fashion university, but I also teach for myself. And there's a very impassioned reason why. I think this new wave of education and design and the way business is done all comes together in the reason for my course and the reason why you would study with me if you came to my course. Certainly, degree programs, I've taught in 4-year programs and 2-year programs. And I have also studied for my work with young children in movement and music. I've studied early childhood development with art. All of this comes together. So many things I want to tell you that I don't even know where to start. So just bear with me, and I won't keep it too long. But the new visions are education. For one thing, so much information is now more easily accessible. You don't have to go only to a university, let's say, to learn something. If you do, depending on your status and the way you go through, you may end up graduating with huge student loans that require you to work for the first employer you can get to, who has a lot of control over you because you owe so much money to pay for school. You don't have freedom to make a lot of your own choices. This isn't everybody's scenario, but I see it play out a lot. And what I've noticed is that when you're feeling that, for lack of a better word, desperate, then you try to create a portfolio and work that's going to appeal to everybody. It's like you want to have this book that's just perfect for everybody. But what I really have always found with my students is don't try to appeal to everybody. Be you, because you have a strength that is so singular that when you're in the right place, you're going to be pulled right in to do work that's in line with your strengths. But if you kind of try to appeal to everybody, they might take you in to do something that you hate to do, and you'll keep doing more of it. And then, it's not only about designing fashion. I always say it's about designing a life you can live, designing your lifestyle. How much free time do you have? How does how's your relationship with your employer? How does you integrate your job and your work-life balance? And I'm all for a kinder future, because I don't think there's so much difference in the way that we use methods for production or chemicals for production, etc., locations for production, that are not respectful of the environment or the people, when we are also not respectful of ourselves in our own work environments and the way we learn. And I think a lot of that is related to some of the issues I've read to in my research on home education and education systems. And so what I want to get to the crux of, I'm going to keep this to like 10 minutes, but I want to have you consider some of the issues that come up with competition. In all of my school experiences, we love working in groups. We love sharing our ideas. What I don't like is taking so many people of all exactly the same age and putting them right up against each other to single out someone to be the best. And competition, we take for granted that it needs to be there. It doesn't need to be there. We're all so different and we're all equal. I can't not believe that. And I can't learn in environments that tell another story. Because that same story is going to come across when we're dealing with people who work under us or for us. I believe that the new wave of sustainability and humanity in business is, transparency and mutual respect through all levels of the production process. So in my study environment, I encourage and adore mixed ages, mixed strengths. Sometimes I'll have a class where a few of the students are already designers. A few of the others are, let's say, digital designers who want to learn to draw. Some are fresh out of high school looking to go to college to get skills. Some are seamstresses who've been making designs for private clients for years and never got to start sketching yet. There are just so many. There are mothers, there are not mothers, there are men, there are women. This mix is the richness. If you take everyone and try to make them the same and then have them compete for one or two spots or honors, that just doesn't, to me, that's a created environment and not the real one. The real one is diverse. It's mixed. And we thrive that way. We share. The great thing that happens in an online classroom is you have time to look at each other's work and give thoughtful feedback without the rushed in-class experience or feeling shy in groups. It works really well for people who aren't comfortable getting up in front of the room and talking. And I've gotten great feedback from students who, through my course, felt like they made a breakthrough in being able to learn and overcome anxiety and fears that they have about performing in a highly competitive classroom environment. And I hope that's my goal, to provide that. We are always lifting each other and learning about ourselves through seeing others' work and through the feedback we receive from others, as well as by applying ourselves to our own assignments. Online study, in my course, you check in whenever you want to. We don't meet at an appointed hour. So the message there is that it's okay you have a family. It's okay you have a job. It's okay that you have restrictions. You check in when you can and you do your very best work when you're ready, when you're replenished, when you're excited. And that is real, honest approach to your life. That's designing a life. And I fully support that kind of learning. Learning through experience, going deep, making discoveries. I want to give you something that's really going to change your life, not only in career, but in the way you talk to yourself, in the way you look at the world around you, and in the way you interact with others. I've designed this class and the community that we create within this class for a specific reason as an antidote to the learning environments that I most that hindered my own creativity. You know, being in an environment where teachers were telling me to be somebody I wasn't, or to draw someone who didn't exist, or to make sure I didn't take too much risk, or to blindly obey. This isn't the way I teach, and this isn't the way I am comfortable learning. This is a cooperative, encouraging environment for acquiring art skills for an absolute beginner, as well as designer standards for presentation in fashion, for speaking the language of fashion. And I've broken it into 12-week programs. So you can get your foundation, you can get your fabric, color, and concept in level 2. And then in level 3, coaching you right through creating a portfolio, which, whether you take this out to the sidewalks of the fashion industry or whether this is your own creative endeavor, you're learning about so much more than the rag trade. Okay, this is something healing and expansive in your life experience to research visual and fashion worlds and come up with your own that's relevant now. Each one of you interprets this world differently, and I look forward to hearing the story that you have to tell and share. And as an outsider, I can help you see what is so unique to you and pull it out. That's what I love to do. And I love that I can see this voice in each student. I've never not seen it. I've not ever not seen it. But being in a comfortable, non-competitive and encouraging environment, I'm amazed at what people can do. And that is the environment that I choose to create for my studies, both from the format of being able to study whenever you want, online at home, to ask questions, to be able to talk to your teacher throughout the week whenever needed. I want to give that superior level of service and support so that you can realize and become all that you are. And my course stays open for the year, so that beyond the 12 weeks, that we have 12 weekly assignments, you can pace yourself and continue to ask questions, redo whatever you need to really feel that you know your skills and are finding your voice. So I hope you'll follow me on fashionillustrationtribe.com. I'd love to know what you think about learning, what you'd like to learn, and what kind of fears you bump up against when you think about learning fashion or having a career in fashion. So please comment below. I'd love to have a conversation with you.